All right, this is One Last Midnight. Welcome back to another episode of Astroneer. Today we're going to talk about upcoming news, the stuff that they've leaked already, all that good stuff. Astroneer news in general. You know, this is stuff that they've announced, so it's official news, right? So Systemera has put out 2 live streams within the last week or so. I think it's actually like 8 or 9 days or something like that. And I watched all those videos. I spent a couple hours, about 3 hours, watching those videos and breaking it down just to get the juicy bits out of those videos. Before we get started, as I'm watching these videos, you know, I noticed Joe's talking and the camera zoomed in on Joe's face. And I don't know, is it just me? But it looks like there's a little dude in Joe's beard. I don't know, maybe it's an Astroneer guy. You know, that's some serious dedication to put a little Astroneer guy in your beard. Way to go, Joe. All right, so one of the things that he mentioned in the video is that the next update, the Q3 update, is actually going to come out in September. There was nothing said about what's going to be in it. It's just somebody asked, you know, can you tell us when the next update's going to come out? And the response was September. The big news that was released, and this was released a week or so back, is that Astroneer is coming out to Nintendo Switch. And that's going to happen somewhere January of 2020. Now, I have a question, because if that's going to happen in January 2020, what's going to happen to the Q4 update that was planned for this year? Is that something that is going to happen in December or before December? Or is it going to be merged into the Q1 of 2020 release? So that's kind of something interesting to think about. Astroneer will play on Nintendo Switch at 720 DPI and then also around about 30 frames per second. And then they were claiming that it runs great, and they actually showed a video, and it's playing in the background here, of how it runs on Switch. It looks really good. Joe said that they made a bunch of core code changes to make it play really well on Switch. I'm wondering if those core code changes are going to make their way back into the main code base so that everybody can enjoy the improvements that they made. Or if maybe it's something that is just 100% specific to the Switch and cannot be brought back. If that's the case, then they branched their code and they've got 2 different code bases going on, which I don't think that they would want to do. You know, as always in these live streams, there's a bunch of questions that come out, and, you know, one of them was, is there going to be cross-play at launch for the Nintendo Switch? And there's not going to be, and the main reason is because those core code changes that we're talking about won't allow for cross-play, and I think that was a yet. I don't know if it's ever going to allow for cross-play. Who knows? Nothing was really said definitively on if cross-play is going to be available for Nintendo Switch. Local co-op will be a thing on Switch, and it will work, so you can enjoy playing Astroneer with your friends. Switch, it seems like it's going to be a digital download. The response that Joe gave was most likely will be a digital download. I don't know if they're going to do a hard version of this for Nintendo Switch, you know, like a physical product or not. And finally, for Switch, there will be an exclusive suit, so everybody who buys it on Nintendo Switch will have a nice exclusive suit. The other big news that came out of this whole Switch announcement was the introduction of the Space Snail. Now, if you guys have no idea what Space Snail is, this goes back to year 1 when Joe was doing a blog, and people were jokingly talking about, you know, space cow, space whatever, and I believe Joe and Veronica, you know, brought up the Space Snail. And Space Snail kind of took on with the community, and it's been around for like almost 4 years as a joke. And there's been some hints left and right if Space Snail would ever come out, and it is finally making its way into the game in January, and it'll be on all platforms on that January release. Missions will be associated to the Space Snail. It didn't say anything about what the missions were going to be or you know, what they're going to be about. There was a question if there was going to be snail lore, and the answer was yes, there will be some snail lore. There was questions if you could ride the snail, and the response was he didn't want to spoil the gameplay of the snail, so we don't know if that's a thing that's going to happen. Will the snail be tameable? The response was no comment. So probably this is more going to be like a companion or something. And then there was another question that you know, he said, will the snails only be green or will there be different colors? And he actually showed a little bit of a screenshot of a blue snail. So it seems like there's going to be multicolored snails, which would be really cool to see. And I don't know, maybe they have different purposes as well. I have no idea. Some more questions that were asked, and they're typically always asked, is going to be more planets. Joe's response was nothing to say about that, but they are thinking about, instead of adding more planets, trying to add more things to do on the existing planets that they have. So you feel like that there's, you know, much more to do in Astroneer than there currently is. There was a question if there's going to be more mats in the future. If you guys have participated in the last previous events, you know, the last major update with the hoverboard, there was like missions that had these mats, essentially like a FedEx delivery kind of mission where you had to go out and get some things or make some things and then put it into this little machine. He definitely said that more mat-like missions will happen in the future. Somebody asked for interplanetary automation, and they said they have absolutely no plans for that right now. And another person asked if there was going to be more lore in the future. You know, outside of the snail lore, is there going to be more lore completely? Like, you know, give us some more meat behind the whole story behind Astroneer. And he said definitely there was going to be some more lore happening in the future. A couple other things that were leaked in these two live stream videos is that there's a community roundup that's happening. I have a link in the description for you. Gina's been putting out a community roundup, and she's done the third one, and it looks really great. There is also these special visors that are not going to be for sale. They're going to be given as kind of a reward for community roundup people, that people are highlighted in the community roundup. And they'll have a chance to win these visors. So make sure you submit your stuff to, you know, Reddit or Astroneer or whatever the case might be. Post it on your social media so you get their attention, and maybe you'll be showcased in this community roundup and have the ability to be able to get one of these special visors. And then finally, you know, he showed off this space snail animation that they have, some beginning animation of the space snail shaking its head no. And Joe had said that, you know, anytime there's a question that he can't answer, he's just going to show this space snail animation, which I thought was kind of funny. So that's it for the Astroneer news. You know, I'll be staying on top of Astroneer. I have been always staying on top of Astroneer. And I'm also thinking about redoing all of my Astroneer guides, because a lot has changed in the couple years that Astroneer has released to 1.0 version. So I think it's about time to go back and update all those guides so that everybody can see the new stuff and maybe how to play differently. At any rate, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Would love to have you in the community. If you want to follow me on any of my social media, you can find the links in the description below. And make sure to hit that notification bell. That way you know when I go live and when I post new videos. I'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.